I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. Of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is.
It is a great day today. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. We should be good. Oh my goodness. Looking all crispy and clean on the screen this Thursday morning. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE of ClassEbeats.com, patreon.com/ClassEbeats. You can find the link in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. We're going to get into a great show today. Y'all know we're covering the TAY trial, so we're going to get back into that. Of course, we've got some amazing news about Yak Gotti. I was wrong, y'all. I was trying to report on things live as they happened, as they were going down. Thought we saw the conditions of the probation. We're actually going to find out what exactly is going on with Yak Gotti's probation. We're going to show a little bit of footage from when he was released. He did a whole interview and everything. So shout out to Yak Gotti. He's finally free. We still got a lot of work to do here in Fulton County, though. And we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But before I get into it, I got to say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. I see y'all up in here. Y'all know my awesome, amazing Amy is up in here to start the day. Shout out to Amy. Michi's in the building. Valencia, A-Fits, Danny in real life. Taco Tuesday is up in here about 6 days early, or maybe 2 days late, depending on how you look at it. We got Jay Buckmaster in here. Good to see you. The Honorable Attorney Kel Bell. Thank you to Kel Bell and all the amazing attorneys that tune into the channel. Y'all bring so much value to this community, and it's always great to see you guys in here to hear your feedback and your thoughts. So Kel Bell is one who is consistently here and showing support. I appreciate you, Kel Bell. Thank y'all so much. We're gonna go ahead and get right into the show. If y'all could do me a favor, please make sure you like the video on your way in. Not only is it free, not only does it take less than a second to do, but it does let the algorithm know that you guys are having a great time here on the show, and it shares the video out with more people and the channel too. It really does help us grow. So if you could take 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds, and do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, we're going to be reading super chats as we go throughout the show, and I'm going to get to a couple here this morning. Shout out to Tanya in the building. I see you, Tanya. Michi is up in here. You know what time it is. Michi consistently showing support, dropping the 10 bomb. Dang, Michi. She says, happy Thursday. Freedom is a beautiful treasure. Amen. Thank God for my freedom. Congratulations to Yak Gotti for finally being released. The video of him returning with his mother is the best. We're gonna look at it this morning. I know Yak can't say it, but Fanny, you. I'm just reading it, Fanny. All right, don't come after me. All right, don't come after Michi either. She didn't even type out the whole word. We just blanked it out. I agree. Shout out to Michi for that one. I really hope that Yak Gotti, now that he's out, doesn't have to worry about this. I hope he gets on that lawsuit that's still pending, that Shannon Stillwell is leading the charge on. I know there's another lawsuit with another gentleman who unfortunately lost his life while he was incarcerated in the Fulton County Jail. So that lawsuit's still pending, and I'm sure they're going to be adding more and more people to it. It is a class action lawsuit, and I think Yak Gotti is a great plaintiff to be added to that claim. So hopefully it gets in there, because Fulton County needs to do the right thing. Either way, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Thank y'all again for the love and support. I appreciate y'all consistently showing up and consistently showing love. Again, I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. Like the video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So thank God Yak Gotti is finally free. Can we give him a round of applause for that? So excited to see how the community was coming out, showing love to him. A lot of people were there the day he was released, which was yesterday, interviewing him, talking to him about what was going on. He got to see his family and friends, and we're actually going to get into a news article here, and we're going to listen to what happened, what went down, give you guys a little reminder of what his entire journey was throughout this YSL trial. And then I'm going to break down his actual final disposition so we can see what he's looking at with probation. And hopefully it's something simple so that he can forget about all of this and keep living his life here shortly. So let's see what Fox 5 News in Atlanta has to say.
Months after being acquitted of all charges in the long-running YSL gang trial, Atlanta rapper Yak Gotti will soon head home. Hello, and thanks for joining us on Fox 5 News at 4. I'm Deidre Dukes, in for Christine Sparrow tonight. The recording artist accepted a plea deal this morning that dismissed almost all the charges he had left, which he picked up while waiting for that
just
RICO
aggravated
trial.
battery.
Fox 5's Tyler Fingert was in the Fulton County courtroom this morning. He's live at the Fulton County Jail on Rice Street with the details. Tyler.
Shout out to Tyler. He's got a crazy name.
Good afternoon to you. For nearly 3 years, Diamante Kendrick, also known as Yak Gotti, has been locked up here at the Fulton County Jail. But that will soon change after a plea deal with prosecutors today, just months after he was acquitted of RICO and murder charges. Friends, family, and attorneys of Atlanta rapper Yak Gotti have a reason to celebrate Wednesday, and they grabbed a picture to mark the moment outside the Fulton County Courthouse, just minutes before the artist, whose real name is Diamante Kendrick, took a plea deal that guaranteed his release from jail.
We was victorious today. So that what matters.
Tasha Kendrick is Diamante's mom. Wednesday is a day she's waited years for.
Shout out to Miss
And I'm
Tasha.
thankful that my son's coming home. I miss him deeply, real deeply. He got not guilty, and he still was in jail.
In December, jurors found him and another co-defendant not guilty of murder, racketeering, and other charges during the YSL gang trial.
Mr. Kendrick, you have been found not guilty on all charges.
Despite the verdict, Diamante had to stay in jail because he had picked up other charges related to a fight and contraband while in custody. Wednesday morning, he settled those cases with Fulton County prosecutors. He said in court, quote, "I'm ready to go home." When asked if he was guilty, the prosecutor responded, "Yes, gets you home."
He's just happy to put this behind him and to move on with the rest of his life.
Diamante pleaded guilty to an aggravated battery charge, with the rest to be dismissed. Prosecutors say Diamante, along with others, attacked an inmate last summer. The judge accepted the deal and sentenced him essentially to time served and probation. He was told to not use social media to promote gang activity. A prosecutor also told him, quote, "Don't post you hate anyone," a reference to the Fulton County District Attorney's recent failed attempt to revoke Young Thug's probation because of a post on social media.
The Yak man is getting back out in the street. He's going to greet his family. He's looking forward to being with his family and friends again.
And Diamante is expected to be released on probation soon. He's also expected to release a brand new album, and the judge wished him good luck on that today. We're live outside the Fulton County Jail this afternoon. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, Judge Whitaker is the truth, man. Can we give it up to Judge Whitaker? She knows what it is. She knows this whole thing was BS. And finally gave this man a break, the break that he needed. Because, you know, we were having conversations about it in the chat of the video that I posted yesterday. letting everyone know that Yak Gotti was free. And there was a lot of back and forth about the charges that were in there. He's lucky that this happened. Let's not forget about what he did while he was in jail. If you think about it, you look at it, this man didn't have a possibility to get out, first of all. So he was held in jail as if he was guilty. Then he was found not guilty. And essentially, I mean, it seems like those charges should go away. If you were kept there as an innocent person, why are we still holding him on charges he committed while he was in a place that he shouldn't have been? It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, we're going to get into the final disposition here, thanks to my guy Thugger Daily. And we're going to see exactly what Yak Gotti is getting at. And then after this, we'll go ahead and check out Yak Gotti's interview that he did once he was released. So we have the state of Georgia versus Diamante Kendrick. The final disposition. What do they say? Aggravated battery. Guilty. 12 years to serve 9 months. The balance of 11 years and 3 months probated. All right. There's no fine. Aggravated assault. No pros. We've got riot in a penal institution, which is BS and so easy to get charged for. Null as well. So what did Judge Whitaker say? The defendant is adjudged guilty or sentenced under first offender for the above stated offense. The court sentences the defendant to confinement in such institution as the commissioner of the state of the Department of Corrections may direct, with the period of confinement to be computed as provided by law. The defendant is sentenced to a total of 12 years, with the first 9 months to be served in confinement. He's already done those. And the remainder to be served on probation. And then they're supposed to put here what's supposed to be served on probation. What does Judge Whitaker say here? Special conditions of the probation. The defendant is advised that violation of any of the special conditions of probation may subject the defendant to a revocation of probation, and the court may require the defendant to serve up to the balance of the sentence in confinement. Stay off the internet. Don't talk about Viverito and you'll be fine. All right. It's not that complicated. The defendant shall comply with all special conditions of probation as designated on the attached inventory of special conditions of probation, or X, as follows. After 2 years of successful probation, may be on non-reporting status. This is huge. You don't have to check in, which is absolutely amazing. Shout out to Judge Whitaker for that. Because y'all know, we've looked at the general rules of probation. I mean, these parole officers run your life. After 3 more years of successful probation, the balance may be suspended. So it's really after 5 years, he's done. We talked about this yesterday, right? He can't have a firearm, no contact with and stay away from the victim. Okay, pretty straightforward. Not to promote gang activity by social media or any other manner. Stay off the internet. It's not that hard. And then we have the first offender or conditional discharge. The defendant consenting hereto. It is the judgment of the court that no judgment of guilt be imposed at this time, but that further proceedings are deferred, and the defendant is hereby sentenced to confinement at such institution as the commissioner of the State Department of Corrections or the court may direct, with the period of confinement to be computed as provided by law. And then it goes into that such and such. Ordered yesterday, April 9, 2025, the Honorable Paige Reese Whitaker. All right, shout out to Paige Reese Whitaker. Let's go ahead and move forward into what's going on when Yak Gotti got released. This interview is absolutely amazing. If y'all haven't seen this yet, it's an amazing moment. Check this out.
I love you.
Man, look at that.
I love you. I love you.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
You're welcome. I love you. I love you. Can I get my little stuff?
How you doing?
Oh, look at him. Oh.
So happy for this dude, man.
He's out.
Look at him, mama. Hey, bro.
It has to be an unreal experience. I can't imagine.
Yes, I love you.
Diamante, I'm with Fox 5. How glad are you to be finally out?
It's like, man, I'm reborn. I feel like I'm reborn. I feel like we've been through a lot in these last 3 years, 2 years. I just support. I mean, I appreciate our support system. My support system, my family, my friends, my loved one.
Look at him holding the mic. He's ready to drop the album.
Reborn. It's just another chance at life. And I promise I won't let the people who support me down. And let's get it. Shout out to Jed Whitaker for sure.
Yeah,
shout out to Jed Whitaker. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Kaden. Shout out just all my lawyers. Bruce.
YSL Whitaker.
You were found not guilty of all the charges in December from that long trial.
For sure.
You picked up charges while you were in here. That's what kept you in. I mean, is it frustrating that happened where even though you were found not guilty on all those charges and you ended up picking up stuff while you were in for that case that ended up getting not guilty on all charges?
Yeah, it's frustrating. But it's like when you accused of things that you haven't did and you got a strong support system. Like, I was on the news every day, me and my mom, a victim of like just accusing us of things that we not and we haven't did, and it's like no one ever apologized for none of that.
Really, yeah.
You know, like
they will.
Like, I got kids, I got a grandma, I got people who love me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ain't never said, Mr. Kendrick, we owe you an apology, or this is not you. You know, and it's just like,
he's right.
What would you say to Fonnie Willis?
I don't got no comment.
Smart man. Why would the reporter ask
I know you
him
have
that?
an album apparently coming out.
What would you say to Fannie Willis? Man, come on. That's crazy.
Not if your mom beats you first.
Why would he, man? I get the reporters asking questions. Why would he ask him about Fannie, man? I hate sometimes. Anyway, smart man. Thank God Yak Gotti is a smart dude. He's like, I am not talking about that. I just heard Judge Whitaker tell me to leave them alone.
Anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to add?
Nasty word.
I mean, obviously, what's your first thing you're doing? It's been almost 3 years. Actually, today is 11 months exact, or 2 years.
I just want to be with my family. Just be with the family. Everybody who right here who's been staying 10 toes down and supporting me, I just want to spend time with them. No fake love, no fake energy. Just, just everybody who with me right now. No more, no extra.
Yeah. Diamante, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh. Whatever. We'll do that.
All right, I hate
It's a terrible question.
I need this cleared out. Both these vehicles are cleared out. Thank y'all.
Trust me, we can
Look, that's why he good, dog. I just gotta clear it out.
He said, y'all got to get the F out of here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So happy for this dude, man.
All right, we following y'all.
Okay.
All right, we following y'all. Next destination. Yeah.
I know I ain't been nowhere in so long.
He been acting up.
Do anything or not, so.
All right, we behind y'all.
That's why I know which one.
All right.
Yeah, your auntie's proud of you. Your auntie's
Thank
proud of you.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, y'all.
There it is, man. Shout out and congratulations to Yak Gotti again. Woo! It feels like a chapter is closed, but y'all know this is going to be a long journey, especially with everything he's going to have to deal with probation, checking in for the next 2 years. I think Yak's going to do the right thing. You've heard him. You've seen him. You know he's got a good head on his shoulders. So waiting and excited for this album to drop. We're definitely going to be here reporting. I'll probably review it on the Song of the Night at some point too. So congratulations to Yak Gotti and his family. Let me know what y'all think about that probation though in the comments and in the chat. And shout out to the gang, man. I see we got a couple of super chats in there too. Michi. Michi says, shout out to YSL These
niggas lacking.
Whitaker. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the 10 bomb, Michi. Shout out to YSL Whitaker. I don't know. I asked y'all earlier if you thought Judge Whitaker was flattered by the YSL Whitaker. I think she is. I really do think she is. I think she gets it. She understands it. She's like, yeah. She's probably telling her kids, you know, they call me YSL Whitaker over there. Yak Gotti, make this count. Stay off social media, chill with mama and your kids. Stay in the studios. Good luck and keep your head up. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. No gas stations. Don't be at any gas stations with anybody. Just stay at the pump and go home. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here. Yeah, he said, y'all, hey, it's time to go. She loves YSL. She's a member now. He should not have had any probation. The judge is great. You got to give him something. Because unfortunately, the law is the law and the system is the system. And if you commit certain crimes while you're incarcerated, guilty or not, you're going to be held accountable, which is crazy. Can he stay in Atlanta? Yes, he can. I have a question for the reporter, but it's okay to live that lifestyle. What do you mean, Taco Tuesday? Can you clarify? Reporters ask the dumbest question. Man, why are you going to ask a setup question like that? I'm so glad Yak Gotti said no comment. He's had his PR training, probably thanks to Doug Weinstein in the Abbott law firm. I, again, am so glad he's free. F you, Fanny, says Les Cleaver. Yeah, a little soft on his feet. What do you have to say to Fannie Willis? I mean, what do you think he has to say? Crazy, man. Most definitely, she loves it. She did what Glanville wished he couldn't do, or wished he could have done, I think is what you meant to say. Judge Giggles had enough of Craig Goose, Fannie Willis. Probation is another form of incarceration. Ain't that the truth? And I mean, we've seen, I wish I hadn't taken it down. I want to look at this probation one more time. We're going to, where's Thugger Daily? I mean, it's not bad, to be honest. 5 years, everything's over with. He can't have a gun. Judge Whitaker said, no social media. Please stay off social media. Not to have a firearm. No contact with and stay away from the victim. I see. She's talking when she says no contact with and stay away from the victim. She's talking about the aggravated assault victim, which I don't know. Do we have a name for that person who he allegedly assaulted? So she's saying stay away from that person. Don't promote gang activity. How's the music going to go? Guess he can't say YSL. Upon fulfillment of the terms of the sentence or upon release of the defendant by the court prior to termination of the sentence, the defendant shall stand discharged of said offense with court adjudication and completely exonerated of guilt of said offense charged. Yeah, that's dope. So 5 years, this goes away. Amazing, man. Judge Whitaker is the truth.
These niggas lacking.
Can he talk on YouTube? Yeah, I think he can. If you have a head on your shoulders, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm not going to lie. Even if it were me, with all that I know, I probably would have said something about Fannie Willis. I just would have sarcastically been like, you know, I wish Fannie Willis the best. And I hope she takes care. That would not be You just shouldn't say anything. So he made the right choice. But I'd probably say something smart. Anyway, if y'all haven't yet, please make sure you like the video on your way in. Thank you to all 300 plus of y'all that are watching. Let's go ahead and get into TAY. So we're getting back into day 7. We're going to finish this day up. And then day 8 is supposed to start sometime this morning. So we'll probably cover some of day 8 once we get into it. But we got to go back to this expert testimony that we were covering on day 7 in the TAY trial. So let's go.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. All right, you can lower your hand. And you make sure you keep your voice up so the members of the jury can hear. And you can state your name and spell your last name, please.
My name is Lindsay Patton. Last name spelled P-A-T-T-E-N.
All right, stage, you may proceed.
Ms. Patton, how are you currently employed?
I currently work for the San Antonio Police Department.
And what unit
She's
are you
former
with?
CSI, by the way.
I am with the Southwest Texas Fusion Center.
Okay. What are your duties in your current role?
In my current role, I manage 6 grants for the unit, as well as purchasing and other budget items.
Okay. In total, how long have you been with the San Antonio Police Department?
Nice.
17 years.
Okay. And were you previously assigned to the crime scene investigation unit?
Yes, I was.
About how long did you spend in that unit?
13 years.
Okay. What were your duties as a crime scene investigator?
I would collect evidence, take photographs, take fingerprints, things like that.
Okay. And what kind of training did you undergo to become a crime scene investigator?
When I was first hired, we get 3 months of training in the academy, and then a month of ride-alongs, and then I was annually trained after that.
Okay. Now, were you employed as a crime scene investigator with the San Antonio Police Department on June 6th of 2017?
Yes, I was.
And as part of your duties as a crime scene investigator back in 2017, were you tasked with obtaining digital evidence in certain cases?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And on June 6th of 2017, did you receive a cellular device to extract associated with the case that we're here for today?
Could I see my extraction report?
Yes. Well, I don't have a printout of it, but...
No, well, that's no good. You got to be prepared, prosecutor. By the way, I wanted to ask those of y'all who are following this, who do you think is winning this case so far? I'm going to ask a question in the chat, in the live chat. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments, too.
I'll show you what has been marked as species at number 140. Do you recognize what this is?
Yes.
Okay, and have you reviewed that before?
Yes, I have.
And does it contain a fair and accurate depiction of the extraction that was generated in this report?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and that was for Kate. And do you have any unique identifiers on here to confirm that you've reviewed the contents of the disc?
Yes, my initials are on it.
Okay, and so you recall that you've reviewed it, correct?
Yes.
And it's a fair and accurate copy of the report?
Yes.
And that analysis is done in this case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell the jury how you came into possession of the cellular device that you conducted the extraction on?
Sure. We have a secure lockbox in our photo lab, which is at our headquarters. And that day I took the piece of evidence out of the secure lockbox and I started to process it.
Okay. What did you search the Stacy exhibit number 140 under? What authority did you act?
There was a search warrant.
Okay. And what program did you use to conduct the forensic extraction?
It's called Cellbrite.
And did you have training experience with Cellbrite back in 2017?
Yes, I was trained by another CSI.
Okay, and had you conducted investigations previously with forensic devices using Cellbrite?
Yes.
Okay. And at the time, were you familiar with Cellbrite?
Yes, I was familiar.
And in your training experience, did you find it to be reliable?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury how Cellbrite was used in this case regarding the contents of State's Exhibit 140?
Sure. At the time you had the phone, you would plug it into it's called a UFED device, a Universal Forensic Extraction Device. And that device plugs into the computer that has the Cellbrite software on it. So you would take the phone, plug it into the UFED, which gave you some prompts, and you would go through the prompts, and then the extraction report would run. And you just kind of waited. It would depend on how much data was on the phone as to how long it would take.
Makes sense.
Okay. And so in this case, regarding CJ's number 140, did you hook up the phone that you received to the Celebrate toggle?
Yes.
Okay, and you followed all the prompts?
Yes, I did.
All right, and did a successful extraction occur?
Yes, it did.
And was a report generated with the findings of the cell phone that you received?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, can the data that's extracted be manipulated in any way?
No.
Okay. And so, well, at this time, the state offers CZ Exhibit 140.
Some of y'all are saying you think TAY is going to get out. Wow.
All right, State's Exhibit number 140 is admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Granted.
All right, can you see that up there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, if you take a look at State Exhibit number 140, what day was the report created?
It was created on June 6th of 2017.
Okay. And regarding the examiner name, who is that?
That's me.
Okay. And is that your badge number?
Yes, it was.
All right. Now, regarding the extraction start date and time, can you tell the jury what that was?
The start date was June 6, 2017 at 8:29 a.m. And the end time was June 6th of 2017 at 8:32 a.m.
Okay. Now, regarding the MSISDN, can you explain to the jury what that is?
That is the full phone number of the device.
Okay. And regarding the detected phone model, can you please go over that with the jury?
It's an iPhone 5.
Okay. And who is the owner name that was designated to the device?
It's TAYK47 iPhone.
Okay.
Damn.
And what is the IMEI number registered to the phone?
The IMEI number is a 15-digit number for every cellular device. It's assigned to every cellular device for the SIM slot.
Okay. And what was it in this case on Exhibit 140?
It is 3585380563869112.
Sorry about that. And regarding the Apple IDs that were registered to the device, can you explain to the jury what those are?
They are emails, the first being sonofsaam@aol.com, and the other being tayk47u@icloud.com.
And regarding call logs, you just give me a second. You've previously reviewed this, and this is a fair and accurate depiction of the calls that were contained on the device, correct?
Yes.
And regarding this iMessage, can you explain to the jury regarding the item listed as 67, who the participants in that iMessage thread were?
It's going to be TAYK47u@icloud.com.
Okay, and the other number associated with the text thread?
The other number.
I wonder if they're going to go through and review all these. I got a deuce 5. It's going to send her a code, V, or what? This doesn't make any sense. I hope they explain it.
469-347-3233.
Okay. And regarding this message on February 3rd of 2017 at 2:56 p.m., who does it appear sent that message?
The TAYK47u@icloud.com.
And what does that message say?
It says, who is this?
Okay, and then regarding the message sent directly after that, on February 3rd of 2017 at 2:57 p.m., can you say what number was associated with that chat?
It's 1-469-347-3233.
And what does that say?
Pimpy Z.
Okay. And regarding the message at February 3rd, 2017 at 2:57, is that an image that was sent to the iPhone?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Steve, you can use your microphone?
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it'll make it easier for everyone to hear. It's not working.
I'll try to talk louder.
All right, thank you. There we go. All right, thanks.
All right, Ms. Patton, and as part of the reviews of State Exhibit number 140, there were multiple images that were contained within the phone. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And just regarding this image for demonstrative purpose, regarding line 13, can you identify when that photo was taken?
It was taken on February 10th of 2017 at 5:02 p.m.
Okay, regarding State Exhibit, or the item listed as 140, can you tell when that image was created?
It was created on March 3rd, 2017 at 3:16 p.m.
Okay, and line 141?
It was taken on March 3rd, 2017 at 3:15 p.m.
And 142?
It was taken on March 3rd, 2017 at 3:15 p.m.
And 143?
Also on March 3rd, 2017 at 3:15 p.m.
I always
regarding line 144?
I always love to see how these defendants are so involved in the court proceedings too. No matter who it is, TAY, Young Thug, Yak Gotti was over there doing the same thing. It's always interesting when they're just sitting there kind of stoic. Seems like, man, maybe they feel like their fate's already been decided.
It was taken on March 3rd, 2017 at 3:14
trying to figure out what's going on.
Line 145?
145?
Yes.
It was taken on March 3rd, 2017 at 3:14 p.m.
Line 146?
It's taken on March 3rd, 2017 at 3:14 p.m.
Line 147?
It's taken on March 2nd, 2017 at 8:38 p.m.
And line 148?
It was taken on March 2nd, 2017 at 8:38 p.m.
And just, we've gone through this previously, correct?
Yes.
And there are other images that are contained within the State Exhibit, correct?
Yes.
And you would be able to tell the date and time that they were taken by looking where, if you could show the jury, please.
Looking right here at created.
Where my mouse is toggling?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Thank you very much. We pass the witness, Your Honor.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So what we just looked at is what's called a logical extraction. Is that right?
Yes, I believe it's also a file system extraction.
Okay, and there are different grades of extraction, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And logical or file system is the lowest level, lowest tier of extraction, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So, for example, it won't tell you what's in the deleted files or in the cache of different applications, right?
Yes, that is correct.
If you wanted to look at messages that were sent on platforms like Instagram or Snapchat, things like that, you wouldn't be able to access them.
No, sir.
And
Interesting.
What ultimately this kind of a logical extraction produces is a PDF.
That's
what's
correct,
on the phone, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like we can go in with a mouse and click on Instagram and scroll through or things like that.
Right, not with this version.
And it wouldn't give us detailed GPS data either, right?
I don't know the answer.
You don't know one way or the other?
No, sir.
That wasn't something you were asked to look at in this case?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, in order to do a more thorough extraction, we would need what's called a UFED reader, right?
In this case, I believe a more thorough extraction would have required the passcode to the phone.
And then you would also need to do a full file system extraction.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you would need to have special software to actually interact with the contents from that full file system extraction, correct?
Yes, in 2017, Cellbrite did not have that technology.
Okay, and it's
Cellbrite's
proprietary
used a lot.
software, right?
Yes, sir.
Cellbrite?
Yes, sir.
So, do you know how many thousands of dollars it costs to have that software at your disposal?
Objection relevance.
What's relevance?
To explain how complicated it is to get
It's
more
no
information on
relevance.
the cell phone.
All right, objection is the same.
Pass it.
No further questions, and she's excused by the state judge.
Excuse.
All right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone during the pendency of this case or do anything. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, then,
Thank
make
you.
sure you leave your microphone behind, and if you'll leave the exhibit of the court reporter.
Okay.
I just want to know, like, when are we going to get into what's actually in these files? Because it seems like the prosecution's been setting things up, the defense is setting things up, but we really haven't heard, just as jurors, what's your point in showing this witness? Why are we here? I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. I'm probably missing it.
Everybody approach yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Got to approach for the next witness. Yeah, we've heard a lot about Cellbrite throughout a couple of these trials too. Let's skip ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, being informed by both parties that this is going to be a lengthy. All right, everyone, please be seated. State, call your next witness.
State calls, Sergeant
Could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. And do you have the microphone? Yes, if you could put that on your lapel, it's for the court reporter. All right, if you make sure you keep your voice up, and if you could state your name instead of your last name, please.
My name is Raul Juarez, Juarez.
Shout out to Senor Juarez.
It's Sergeant Juarez now. Yes, sir. Who are you employed with currently? The San Antonio Police Department. And I guess in entirety, how long have you been employed by the San Antonio Police Department? 22 years. And in that course of those 22 years, I guess there's promotions or a different hierarchy of where you've ended up in that department. Can you describe to the jury just briefly from those 22 years of what type of experiences you've gone through? Okay. So I started with the police department in 2003. I worked for approximately 3 years on patrol as a uniformed patrol officer on the south side overnight. From there, I went to the tactical response unit and the gang unit for, again, approximately 3 years. From patrol officer, I promoted to detective in 2010, and I was assigned to the night detectives unit, an investigative unit that works overnight.
You say the night detective? No, I'm playing.
In 2015, still a detective, I transferred to the homicide unit, and I was assigned to the homicide unit until I promoted to sergeant in December of 2023.
And you stated that you're a detective in the homicide unit. How long were you a detective in the homicide unit?
I was a detective at the homicide unit for 8 years. I was a detective total 13 years.
And can you just, again, briefly describe to the jury what exactly is that, the homicide division, and what type of cases that you'll deal with?
So the homicide division is actually broken up into several parts. They investigate, everybody assumes it's just murders, but it's also in San Antonio, they also investigate traffic. There's a traffic investigation section, a misdemeanor section, an aggravated assault section,
Those are things such as shootings, stabbings, those kinds of felonies. And then there's murders, murder detectives that investigate not only murders or any kind of suspicious death, manslaughters, capital murders, and in San Antonio, also officer-involved shootings.
Thank you. And let's go back into 2017. What division were you assigned at that point?
I was assigned to the murders section at homicide.
And particularly April 23rd, 2017, were you assigned to the murder subsection of the homicide?
Yes, sir.
And let's talk about SAPD number 170.
Sorry, y'all, we getting deliveries. I got a new backpack.
Were you the lead detective on that case?
Yes, sir.
And were you dispatched to the scene that's associated with that SAPD number on April 23rd, 2017?
Yes, sir.
And why did you make that location?
Officers responded to the scene for a shooting. Once officers arrived at the scene, they determined that a person had died from a gunshot wound. And based on the initial details that the patrol officers called, so they hold down the scene, secure the scene, look for witnesses, but they request homicide out to the scene for the follow-up investigation.
All right, excuse me. Can I have police charge just right for this?
What now, Judge Boy? She might want a break. Oh, let's see what she's doing up here.
Thanks, Judge. Well, so I'll share thought there too, but let me ask you this. The location that you arrived at, was there establishment there?
Yes, there was a Chick-fil-A restaurant at 27 Northeast Loop 410.
And so is that location within Bear County, Texas?
Yes, sir.
And just to describe to the jury, what's across the highway that's sort of a landmark? Is there a mall or something across the highway?
Yeah, there's a North Star Mall is located across the highway, approximately across the highway.
So when you arrive at the scene, what are you doing? Are you delegating duties or assignments? How do you handle the scene?
Generally, when I arrive at the scene, I look for either the first responding officer or the officer that's going to handle the report, that they're going to write the report. And I try to get an idea of what the officers have ascertained up to that point as far as what has led up to this incident, and any witnesses or potential bystanders that may have seen or have knowledge of what occurred.
And speaking of, I mean, one, did you speak with the officers at the scene to get the initial, briefing on what was going on?
Yes, sir.
And then you stated about talking to witnesses and to get their initial accounts. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you speak with individual witnesses at the scene?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you personally speak with all the witnesses at the scene?
No, sir.
How is that handled?
So
all right, no shopping for today.
When I got sent out to the scene, I went out with another detective, and we kind of divided the duties as far as witnesses. And since as we arrived, we determined that not only was the incident had started from what we know just down the street from the Chick-fil-A.
And initially when you're there, I think we had previous testimony, or rather other officers at the scene. Are they also separating witnesses?
Yes, sir.
And then are witnesses kept at the scene and released from the scene, or are they taken places to get...
So generally, once we determine which witnesses have seen anything, I mean, it's good that they are, telling officers that they're remaining at the scene to give us information. But we need statements from those people, so those witnesses were transported to the homicide office and to provide written statements.
And I guess to be fair, are you able in every case or any case to get every witness that witnessed the incident?
No, sir.
And why is that, within your training experience?
Generally, people don't want to get involved for a myriad of reasons, so not everybody stays at the scene. Sometimes people maybe feel they saw something but it really wasn't important. It might have caught their attention, but they didn't, link it in their mind that it was something greater. So usually that's the reason. So it's always a good thing when people do stay and cooperate.
And I guess it's certain, through your experience with this case or any other case, or other cases for that matter, are there times that people stay at a scene and you determine that they're not an eyewitness or a witness that you feel that is useful?
Yes. So, yeah, that happens.
You say y'all could go home.
And let me ask you also, the initial evidence collection at the scene, was there any evidence that was brought to your attention pretty quickly at the scene?
So initially, I went to where the victim was laying on the street, and there was, other than the victim, there was a shell casing right by him. But I was also informed that there had been a cell phone recovered nearby.
And subsequently, was that cell phone identified belonging to someone?
Yes, sir.
Who did it belong to?
To the victim?
And the victim in this case, Mark Salvador?
Yes, sir.
And that's the evidence that you said was collected at the scene?
Yes, sir.
And later on, were the fingerprints lifted from that cell phone and identified by Denise Sonnell?
Yes, sir.
And did those prints come back to Jayden Bell?
Yes, sir.
While you're at the scene, were you able to see if there was any security videos or surveillance videos at that location?
Yes, sir. There were cameras at the location.
And that location is that Chick-fil-A?
Yes, sir.
And did you have an opportunity to speak with the operator of that establishment?
Yes, sir. The owner came in.
And is that, I think, a David Atkin?
Yes, sir.
And he was on the stand a couple of days ago, last week.
I guess in some instances you're not able to see the videos right away, but were you able to view that video with the assistance of that operator, David Atkin?
Yes, sir. He opened up the establishment because I guess it's closed on Sundays, and he allowed us in there to review the video.
And reviewing the video,
brother, where have you been? He said, I guess Chick-fil-A was closed on Sunday. I know I'm nitpicking, but dang, man. Where have you been, brother?
That video that's now in evidence, were you able to quickly identify at least a vehicle of interest?
Yes, sir.
And what the description of that vehicle? I know now you know it was a black Kia, but at the time, what were y'all viewing?
I guess it's closed on Sunday.
It looked like a small, dark-colored, black, dark blue, small sedan.
And any indication on that video of any type of damage on that vehicle?
Yes, it appeared that it had damage, like major damage to the windshield.
And viewing that video at the scene that day, were you able to see how that damage became to be on that windshield?
Yes. So based not only on the witness statements, but on the video, it appeared the victim had stood up on the hood of the car, caused the damage to the windshield, and then fell off the car.
And speaking falling off the car, but did it indicate at that point in your investigation, had you determined how the victim became deceased?
Yes, sir. It appeared just on initial observation that there was a single gunshot wound to the victim's side.
And was that victim, did he ever talk to you or that you're aware of, talk to anyone at that scene after he was shot?
No, sir. Not that I'm aware.
And so was he removed from that scene by the medical examiner's office?
Yes, sir. They removed him to the medical examiner's office.
Okay. And going back to that cell phone from the scene, were you able to view that cell phone? Like the actual display?
Yes, I could see the display.
And were you able to gain access to any numbers that were calling that or texting that individual?
So it was an iPhone, and the notifications popped up. So I couldn't access the phone, but when notifications came up, I was able to see messages and phone numbers.
Now, I'm going to show you what's been marked State Exhibit number 36, entered into evidence. Do you recall, I know it's been a little while, but do you recall if that was the cell phone that you viewed at the scene?
Yes, sir.
And this is the cell phone that you just mentioned that you had viewed some notifications on?
Correct.
And those numbers that you received, were you able to make contact with individuals?
Yes, sir.
And did you ever make contact with a Lucy Salvador?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, you spoke to Lucy Salvador?
Yes, sir.
Now, after this initial investigation and your continuing investigation, and do you go down through a process of, in a sense, collecting other evidence? Let's say like 911 calls.
Yes, sir.
And in this particular case, did you collect and listen to any 911 calls?
Yes, sir. There were 3 911 calls.
Do you recall the individuals that gave those or made those 911 calls?
Yes, one of them was Ana Delgado, and she stayed at the scene. We got a written statement from her.
Okay.
The other one was Elizabeth, and she gave a recorded statement. The third one was a lady who did not want to identify herself.
And did those 911 calls assist you in your investigation?
Yes, sir.
Jane Doe.
And were those renditions and consistent with what you've been gathering already?
Yes, sir.
And then on April 26, 2017, were you able to identify a person of interest as Joanne Reyes?
Yes, sir.
And how were you able to determine that she's a person of interest in this case?
So I had applied for a search warrant for the victim's phone, and in reviewing his phone records, after having spoken to his mother, I knew the approximate time he left home, and I knew the approximate time where he was murdered. So I looked for the phone records at that time to see who he was communicating with, and that's how I developed that phone number.
And is that how you developed Joanne Reyes was associated with the phone number?
Yes, sir.
And did you try to contact her?
I did.
And were you able to contact her at that time?
No, sir.
Did you ever contact anybody associated with Joanne Reyes?
I spoke to her parents.
And were you able to identify the vehicle, the black Kia Forte, through them?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, did you, since you did have her number and she was associated with the case, were you able to apply for a search warrant and obtain one for her phone records?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been marked State Exhibit number 141. Can you please just briefly look through that and tell me if this is familiar to you?
Yes, sir. Those are phone records.
And whose phone records were they, or are they?
Joanne Reyes.
And these are the phone records that you applied for search warrant and obtained due to this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer State Exhibit number 141 into evidence. Tentative defense for any objections?
No objections.
All right, and that says Exhibit, I'm sorry, 141?
141.
All right.
Sorry, Chad, I want to make sure I messed up yesterday. So
All right, State's Exhibit number 144 is admitted.
I'll leave this up here for a moment.
141, Judge.
Yes, 141.
All right. Now, obtaining her phone records, was it helpful in the investigation of this murder?
Yes, sir.
When, at any time after this, were you able to actually speak with Joanne Reyes on April 27th, 2017?
Yes, sir. She called me.
And were you able at that time to set up an appointment for her to come in to be interviewed?
Yes, she set up an appointment to come in on April 30th.
Well, let's move on to April 28th.
And she was talking a million miles a minute to the investigator
on that
too.
particular day, what was significant about this particular day in association with this case?
I was off duty, and I was notified that the Kia Forte that was used, involved in the murder, was recovered at El Potosino restaurant on San Pedro.
And is that El Potosino Mexican food restaurant on San Pedro, approximately, how far is that away from the Chick-fil-A where the shooting occurred?
It's probably a little over a mile, roughly a mile down the road.
And you say down the road, Chick-fil-A is on the access road of 410 and Nicola roughly. If you go to El Potosino, can you describe to the jury how you get there?
Yes, so you would turn, well, you can only turn, I guess, right out of the Chick-fil-A, heading toward San Pedro, and you would take a left on San Pedro heading into town, and El Potosino is just up to the right, one of the lights.
And this scene was processed. Was there any security videos collected from this El Potosino restaurant?
Yes, sir. I was informed that the El Potosino had security cameras.
And those are on state exhibit number 62. Were you able to view those videos?
Can we see them at least?
Yes, sir.
And I guess not necessarily that day, but you were able to subsequently view those videos.
Correct.
And when you did view those videos, was those consistent with your investigation?
Yes, sir.
And after this particular day, did you also have an opportunity on April 30th? Did you gain information on a Tamor McIntyre?
Objection, lead.
When I came into work on Sunday, April 30th, I received information naming.
Objection, hearsay, confrontation.
Well, you gained information on Tamor McIntyre.
Come on,
Objection,
investigator.
hearsay, confrontation, being the witness sidebar.
All right. With the objection to the
Motion for mistrial.
Move to instruct the jury to disregard the question.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are to disregard
John,
the
you
last
disappointed me. No motion for mistrial. Oh, there it is. Hey, shout out to my guy, John.
On April 30th, were you following up on information?
Yo, John is hilarious. Every time he wins an objection, he asks for a mistrial. This is crazy.
Through
Objection, Your Honor. That's trying to elicit the exact same issue.
All right, that objection will be overruled. That's a yes or no question.
Were you following up on information?
Oh, man.
Yes.
Thank you. And as you were proceeding through your investigation, were you, again, did you ever contact or was contacted by Joanna Reyes?
Yes.
And did you ever have another conversation with her?
Yes.
And I mean over the phone.
Yes.
And this was April 30th, which you stated in previous testimony that she was supposed to come in on April 30th for an interview. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did she come in for that interview?
No, she didn't.
And what did it seem like to you?
It seemed like she was avoiding me.
And at this point, did you interview anybody else in this case?
Yes, Jeremiah Rodriguez.
And where did you interview him at?
At the homicide office.
And was anyone else with him?
His mother, Rebecca Rodriguez.
And from that interview, did you follow up with information you received at that interview?
Yes, sir.
And on May 1st, 2017, at any time did you receive any information about the possible shooter?
Objection.
Why was she avoiding it?
Overruled, that's a yes or no question.
Yes.
And were you able to, at that point, identify anybody that was listed as the possible shooter?
Objection calls for hearsay speculation.
Overruled.
Yes.
Who was that?
Tamor McIntyre.
And did you develop any other information about individuals that were friends with him or acquaintances of his?
His best friend, Jalen Bell.
Your Honor, again, object to hearsay confrontation.
Overruled.
And through your investigation, did you find out where Tamor McIntyre was from?
Dallas, Texas.
And
Your Honor, may I have a writing objection to this line of inquiry?
You can make your objections, the court will make a ruling.
Objection, hearsay confrontation.
That will be overruled.
I'm going to show you what's marked State Exhibit number 115.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with this?
Yes, sir.
Where was this collected from?
This letter was collected from the Kia Forte when it was processed by CSI. Bustamante.
And so this was found in the Kia Forte?
Yes, it was photographed.
This is photographed. This is the, I guess, can you describe to the jury what they're looking at?
It's an envelope with it's being mailed. The sender is from New Jersey, and the receiver is Mr. McIntyre.
And it has an address for Mr. McIntyre on there, is that correct?
That's correct.
And what's the city location?
Fort Worth, Texas.
Thank you. So leading up to this point, was Tamor McIntyre a suspect in the shooting?
Yes, sir.
And you spoke with Mark Salvell's family, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
and got information from them. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And on May 1st, did you have an opportunity to talk to Duran Ray again?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do? Did you set up another appointment with her?
Yes, sir.
For a future appointment?
That's correct.
And on this particular day, did you actually get to view the video of El Patrocino Mexican food restaurant?
Yes, sir.
And was that useful to your investigation?
Yes, sir.
And was that consistent as far as your investigation so far?
Yes, it was.
And for other videos associated possibly with this case, did you make any inquiries or investigation into that?
Yes, sir. So I did check other locations from the area around there. I went to the Starbucks, the Guitar Center, the North Star Mall, the Pollo Loco, looking for other video, but there was no video that showed, which direction the suspects or the people that left the suspect vehicle at Potosino, where they may have gone.
And after viewing the El Patrocino restaurant video that's in evidence, that's State Exhibit number 62, did you indicate or rather realize that there was any other individuals of interest on that video?
Yes, sir.
Which individuals would those be that the jury has viewed that video? Which individuals would they be?
So where the Kia's parked, there's a car parked next to it, and there's two females that seem to come up to the car and interact with the occupants of the Kia, and then they leave. So I went to find out if I could identify those two females.
And through your investigation, were you able to identify those two individuals that got in that vehicle and left?
Yes, sir.
And subsequently, were you able to interview them?
Yes, sir.
And did that assist you in your investigation?
Yes, sir.
Now, what were the names of those individuals, by the way?
Jasmine and Vanessa Cruz.
Okay, thank you. Now, moving forward to May 7th, 2017, was there anything significant for your investigation that happened on that day?
Yeah, I received a call from Officer Bernal with the Dallas Police Department advising me that Jalen Bell had been arrested.
Now, where had Jalen, I think you mentioned this now, Dallas, but where was Jalen Bell arrested? Where was he arrested, as in the city? What city was he arrested in?
Mansfield?
No.
Oh.
I'm asking you.
Oh, like Dallas, Texas?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Bad question. That's my fault. I apologize. But he was arrested by Dallas PD in Dallas, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, something significant that was found upon Jalen Bell was that 9mm handgun. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And subsequently, you requested this handgun from the Dallas Police Department. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And actually, numerous times did you request it?
Objection. Waiting.
Sustained. How many times did you request it?
At least 3 or 4 times over a period of months.
And then moving on to May 9th, I think I just addressed that with State Exhibit number 115 about the letter that was addressed to Tamor McIntyre and that Fort Worth address. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And again, that was found in the vehicle, the Kia Forte, the black Kia Forte.
Yes.
Was also found in that black Kia Forte, was there a telephone found in that black Kia Forte?
Yes, sir.
And show you what Smart State Exhibit. State Exhibit number 115. Is this the phone that was found in that black Kia Forte?
Yes, that's one that was found in the glove compartment.
And subsequently, were you able to identify who this phone belonged to?
Yes, sir.
Who did it belong to?
Tamor McIntyre.
Thank you. Now also, looking at the photos or CSI photos from the scene at the El Patrocino restaurant on this day, were you able to view a wallet that was located near the black Kia Forte?
Yes, sir.
And I'll show you what's marked State Exhibit number 78. Was this that wallet?
Yes, it is.
And now this wallet in State Exhibit number 78 was found near that vehicle. Were you able to ever identify whose wallet that was?
It was Mark Saldivar's wallet.
And how were you able to identify that?
I showed his...
Objection, confrontation, hearsay.
Sustained.
Let's run this straw.
Now, on May 15th, 2017, did you make any requests that day?
For the gun in Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we spoke about it just previously, but I'd like to, I'm asking you, did you request that gun that day also from Dallas Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Going on to May 16th, 2017, were you able to obtain the autopsy report for this case at that day?
Yes, sir.
And was it determined that Mr. Mark Salvador was shot by a handgun, or rather a firearm?
Yes, sir.
And was deceased because of that?
Yes, sir.
At that particular day, did you speak with anybody else related to Joanne Reyes?
On which day, sir?
On May 16th. Or May 16th through the 28th.
To Joanna Reyes, I spoke to her mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on May 30th, did you try to gain access to Mark Salvador's cell phone?
I've been trying to do that.
And so I guess what the difference is sort of like you can make access to the actual physical phone, but then you can also request the records. Is that correct?
Deleting.
I'll retrain you on it. How do you, one, what type of records can you obtain from a cell phone?
So I had obtained his cell phone records, so I could tell incoming calls, outgoing calls, things of that nature. But because I could not access his phone, I could not, access anything else from the phone itself, as far as like apps or call logs, contacts, things of that nature.
And this is the individual, Mark Salvador, that you testified earlier to, that you got phone records.
That's correct.
And that's different from the actual cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Also, at the scene of El Patrocino restaurant, an SD card was found. Were you able to view that or analyze it yourself?
So it was found. I tried to. It was damaged, but I still tried to put it into multiple SD card readers. It didn't work. I eventually ended up sending it to our tech unit. Maybe they have a way of getting information, but they were unable to retrieve any information from that SD card.
And moving on to May 31st, did you ever speak to a Jameson Medina?
Yes, sir.
Did you gain information from that individual?
Yes, sir.
Did that assist you in your investigation?
Yes, sir.
And during this time, did you also speak with Jeremiah?
Yes, sir.
And again, gain information from this individual?
Yes, sir.
And did you speak to Olivia Reyes, mother of Joanne Reyes again?
Yes, sir.
Now, on June 20th, 2017, did you ever receive any type of gunshot residue results?
Yes, sir.
And who were the gunshot residue results? Sorry, go ahead.
For Mark Saldivar.
TAY's sentenced to 55 years. He has to serve
after
28.
the accumulation of your investigation to this point, you've spoken to many individuals, is that correct?
I don't know.
That's correct.
And you've viewed the Chick-fil-A video.
Yes, sir.
You've viewed the El Patrocino Mexican food restaurant video.
Yes, sir.
And done your own investigation into this case.
Yes, sir.
And so on June 26, 2017, what did you do on that particular day?
I submitted for a SID request for Tamar McIntyre and Jalen Bell.
And what's that?
Again, can you describe what a SID request and what it is a SID?
So it's a number. It's a unique identifier. People have it for different reasons, but generally it's if there's going to be a case filed against a person, there needs to be a SID associated with that person.
And you said you requested it. Did you receive a unique number that is associated with each of these individuals?
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell us what the unique SID number for Taylor McIntyre is?
108-5716.
And I believe you stated that you also received one for Jalen Bell. Can you please tell us what these numbers?
108-5713.
Okay. Now, at this particular moment, on this day, had you interviewed Joanna Reyes yet?
No, sir.
You had spoken to her,
Yes, sir.
but not fully interviewed her.
That's correct.
Then speaking of the next day, June 27, 2017, were you able to speak again with the parents of Joanna Reyes?
Yes, sir.
And what did you inform them about?
Objection, hearsay, confrontation.
You can answer the question, sir.
I told them that I felt that Jonah was avoiding me, and that she was likely going to be charged with capital murder.
And that's something you informed them of on June 27, 2017?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the next day, June 28, 2017. Did you make a request that day?
Yes, I requested again to have the gun that was found on Jalen Bell transferred here.
And do you know if it was transferred that day or not?
I do not.
Now, on June 30th, 2017, what was significant about this day?
Through my investigation, I found out that Tamar McIntyre had been arrested in New Jersey.
And your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
A lot of people didn't want to talk to the police. Don't blame them.
If someone does try and speak, would the court consider advising them if someone does try and speak with them, if they would advise the court or the court personnel?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so, State, you mentioned that you were going to ask questions about an extradition from Tarrant County?
Well, no, actually from New Jersey to Tarrant County, Judge.
All right, so what is the purpose of asking about his extradition to Tarrant County?
Well, the purpose, Your Honor, is to direct rebuttal to the defense's opening and also to some of the cross that they
I don't see what the issue
questions
is.
on the officers or what other witnesses on. In particular to the 7-year gap or 7.5 to 8 year gap that was mentioned numerous times in defense's opening and mentioned numerous times throughout this trial. And I believe that's leaving a false impression that the state, East Bexar County, was not expediting this actual case. And so it's a rebuttal to that to say that he was extradited to Tarrant County. Well, I mean, ideally, to stand charges for capital murder. I can understand how that might be prejudicial, Your Honor. And so we're not asking to get into the fact of what the charge was, but that he was facing charges in Tarrant County for that purpose. And that this officer...
Is that opening the door?
Close the door. This detective has knowledge that this individual, Tamar McIntyre, was up in Tarrant County for several years, awaiting to resolve those charges. And hence then, he was extradited to San Antonio or Bexar County, Texas. So that does not leave a false impression that the state of Texas and Bexar County DA's office was not expediting this case, because when he was actually brought here, actually for a capital murder, he was brought to trial rather quickly compared to other capital murders that start from start to finish in Bexar County, Texas, Your Honor. So that's the purpose. It's rebutting the contention that defense put in front of the jury that the state had lagged on this one for over 7 to 7.5 to 8 years.
All right, and your response?
Well, Your Honor, while we have talked about the length of time as it related to the firearm and that issue, I do not believe that we have ever suggested that the length of time that is taken to prosecute Mr. McIntyre is part and parcel of why we've criticized the investigation. If Mr. Graham could be a bit more specific as to what exactly it would rebut, we are not suggesting, nor do we plan to argue in closing, that this 7-year gap should be held against the state, other than just simply there was a piece of evidence that was sitting in the evidence room for 7 years, which might have had scientific bearing. But I don't think that that issue is in play either, because there's been nothing either, I think, in discovery or in any of the testimony that has stated that the reason the gun lingered in evidence was because of the Tarrant County prosecution. In fact, it sounds like the gun has been in police custody here in San Antonio until sometime later in the year of 2017 or early 2018. So I don't think that the issue about his extradition directly to Tarrant County rebuts anything that we've said.
All right, and Attorney Rossi?
I'm going to do something probably that's going to make everybody mad.
No, it will not. Well, it won't make me mad because I don't get mad.
I hope not. I think we would stipulate that other than the fact that the gun was not processed, even though it was in their possession, we asked for continuances. I don't think we intend to argue and have not argued, have not questioned, and we would stipulate that they should not hold the length of time that it has taken to bring us to trial against the state in any way, Your Honor. I would reserve the issue of that wouldn't stop them from evaluating a piece of evidence that might have been critical to some of the officers.
All right, well, this is going to be the court's ruling. With the caveat, if you all want to make a stipulation, you can make a stipulation. But without a stipulation from both sides, this is going to be the court's ruling. Number one, state you're not allowed to mention that he was awaiting charges for a murder case in another county.
That makes sense.
I would think it would be appropriate for the witness to be allowed to stipulate that the defendant was extradited to Tarrant County, and then when was he extradited to Bexar County?
I don't have that in front of you, Judge. I can get that though.
So I think that would be fair.
2019, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, when?
I believe 2019.
All right.
But I don't, we're not asking and we don't mind the stipulating that none of that should be held against us then.
Well, if you all want to stipulate, and again, it's completely up to you, if you want to stipulate that the defendant was extradited to Tarrant County, then extradited to Bexar County in 2019 or whatever year it is, I'll allow the witness to testify to that, or either you all can do a stipulation to it. But, sir, you're not allowed to, I'm sorry, Sergeant, you're not allowed to say what the reason he was extradited to Tarrant County.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so whatever charges that were pending in Tarrant County are not to be a part of this trial unless for some reason a door is open to that to be discussed. Does everyone understand?
Yes, I just had a question.
Yes.
That makes sense.
The question is that he was extradited to Tarrant County, stopped there, or that he was extradited to Tarrant County for charges pending, or just Tarrant County?
Just that he was extradited to Tarrant County.
Okay.
And if this witness has information to say he was extradited to Tarrant County in whatever year that was.
Okay.
And then
she's a great judge, man. So
he was extradited from Tarrant County to Bexar County to whatever year that was.
Okay.
But no mention of the charges.
Thank you. Your Honor, my only question about that is I don't know what purpose we have in even mentioning an extradition to Tarrant County. The phrase, he was extradited to Tarrant County, means there was a judicial demand for him for a criminal matter.
The jurors don't know what, I don't know if the jurors know what an extradition is.
But they may. The phrase has one meaning, and someone may understand that. I mean, I don't understand what, because we're not using anything about the time it took to get Mr. McIntyre to court here in San Antonio against the state. It seems like this line of inquiry is unnecessary at all.
Couldn't we agree that he was brought in custody to Tarrant County and thereafter brought to Bexar County in 2019?
Well, one, I don't think he was brought in 2019 because it's 2025, and I think that he was brought here in
2020.
What's that?
I think.
It
says, booked August 9th, 2019.
Okay. Oh,
So it's juvenile.
I'm sorry.
As long as they show that he was in custody.
I apologize. You're correct, because I didn't realize he was a juvenile. I'm going by what I had.
And that also, I mean, like...
Well, here's the thing. Time out. If y'all want to stipulate to something, you can stipulate to something. But I make a ruling. Now, the other question is, to the members in the gallery, I usually don't allow children in the gallery because of the nature of our cases. And sometimes children, depending on their ages, they can't sit still or they want to be somewhere else. And then, just as a side note, the courtroom is filled with germs. There's germs on the carpet, germs everywhere. So there was a child that was in the courtroom, I don't know, approximately 4 or 5. Defense, did you have any objections to the child not being or asked to leave the courtroom?
No, Your Honor. And they might learn bad habits from the counsel table.
Okay. So if anyone has, we can go off the record, so if anyone has any questions about the court rules and bringing children in, you can just let the deputies know. Yes.
I have a question. Those are his nieces and his nephews and his sisters, and I just wanted to know, can they see him? I mean, I know they can't talk to him.
Yeah. No, well, I will tell you, with regards to that, anyone seeing him,
Yes, ma'am.
you'll have to do it with the deputies.
Gotcha.
Deputies are in charge of security I'm a firm believer that everybody stays in their lane, so I don't try to do security. So if that's the reason, you'll need to talk to the deputies about that. And whatever they say about security, that's what they say.
Thank you.
All right.
Shout out
All
to
right,
Judge
is there
Boyd,
anything
man.
else?
She does not play.
All right, so we're going to be
Judge
back at
Boyd's
1:30. Rule has been invoked. You know what that means. You can't talk to anybody about this case.
Yes.
All right.
Judge Boyd is a beast, man. I love George. She knows how to control a courtroom. She's very, 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 very good. Again, I've subscribed to her YouTube channel. I'm a fan. I'm gonna be watching some more, and we'll probably be when she has some court proceedings, and maybe we have a slower day here. We're gonna go over and watch some of Judge Boyd's stuff because she does a great job. Y'all make sure you go check her out, Judge Stephanie Boyd, over on YouTube. We're gonna skip through this break. Let me see. Did I miss anybody up in here? We had a couple of y'all showing love, man. Shout out to the gang in the building. My guy, Mr. Brown's up in here. What does he say? I'm glad to be here in the chat. Glad to have you here as well, Mr. Brown. And we're still continuing to pray for a speedy recovery from you. So always good to see you. And then we've got Shauna up in here with the 5 bomb. Just showing love, man. Thank you, Shauna. Appreciate y'all. Thank you to everyone who's liked the video. We're at 100% likes. Y'all, man. Hey, y'all are amazing with the likes. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. You have no idea how important that is and how much it helps. So thank you to everyone who liked the video. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. And again, let me see. Actually, let me pull up Judge Boyd's channel. And I mean, she's live streaming over there seemingly every weekday. Obviously, they're live in court today. We're gonna kind of skip through so we can get caught up with what they're doing today. But yeah, y'all make sure you go check her out. I actually dropped the link to her YouTube channel in the chat if y'all want to go subscribe. She does a really great job. All right, let's skip ahead and see how long this break is, and then we'll have Detective Juarez back up in here. All right. Boom. Got him.
Yes, thank you. All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, just still
Yeah,
under oath. If you'll just restate your name for the record, please.
For sure.
Raul Juarez.
All right, state your name for TV.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Sergeant Warren, I believe we were speaking about Timor McIntyre being apprehended in New Jersey, and after he was apprehended in New Jersey, was he then transferred to Tarrant County?
Yes.
And then was he transferred here to Bexar County?
Yes.
Thank you. Now,
There you go. You got it in there.
that was on, just after the lunch hour, that was on June 30th that, again, that Timor was apprehended in New Jersey. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then let's fast forward to August 22nd, 2017. What is significant about that date?
Joanna Reyes was arrested.
And was she, where do you recall when she was arrested at?
Hector County, Texas.
And then was she subsequently transferred back to Bexar County?
Yes, sir.
And when she was transferred back here, did you, or were you ever contacted to, that she wanted to speak to you?
Yes, sir.
And did you set up a interview with Joanna Reyes at that point?
Yes, sir.
And did you go to the actual jail or facility to interview her?
Yes, sir.
And were you given that opportunity to interview her at that time?
Yes, sir.
And did you speak to her about the case that we are here in court today for?
Yes, sir.
And did you show her any photographs?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's part 128, State's Exhibit 128, 130, and 131. And if you can flip through those.
Yes, sir.
Now, these photos have already been entered into evidence. Are these the photos that you showed Joanna Reyes?
Yes, sir.
And did she identify each individual in these photos?
Yes, sir.
And did she identify each of these individuals that are in these photos that were in the car with her that day on April 23rd, 2017?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell the jury who was named in these photos?
Tamar McIntyre is a front seat passenger. Jalen Bell and Jeremiah Rodriguez were in the back seat.
discussing this case with Ms. Reyes on that day, at the conclusion of that interview, did you determine whether Joanna Reyes was a participant in this case?
I told Joanna that I believe she was a participant in the case and that she was going to be charged with capital murder.
Now, this is exactly, you had told in previous testimony today, before lunch, that
she
you
was
spoke to her
scared.
parents and told them that she was a suspect in this case.
Yes, sir.
She was a getaway driver.
And after the conclusion of that interview, did you reach out to a Jeremiah Rodriguez and Rebecca Rodriguez to obtain another interview?
Yes, sir, the next day.
And so on September 6, 2017, were you able to have that interview with Jeremiah Rodriguez and Rebecca Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
And after that interview with those individuals, was that useful for this case in your investigation?
Yes, sir.
And at the end of that interview, let me retract that statement, that question. Let me ask you again, on September 6th, again, did you contact the Dallas Police Department?
Yes, sir.
And what did you contact them for?
They had a backlog, so trying to get that stolen gun over here to Bear County.
And that's the gun that Jenna Bell was picked up with in Dallas, Texas?
Yes, sir.
And do you know at that point, was the gun transferred to Bear County on September 6, 2017?
I don't think it was at that point, but I'm not positive when it got transferred, sir.
And let's just talk about that firearm in particular. Are you aware of when it did make it to Bear County?
No, I don't. I'm not aware, sir.
And in fact,
what's the issue,
do you recall when you became aware it was in Bear County?
Last 2024, last year.
2020, so last year.
Yes, sir.
And at that particular point, was what did you request about that firearm, or what to do with it?
The firearm was sent to the Bear County Crime Lab, along with the shell casing that was recovered at the crime scene at the Chick-fil-A for comparison.
And you requested it be sent to be compared, and you got the results from that, is that correct?
Yes, it didn't match.
Now, you interviewed all these individuals. Did you ever have an opportunity to interview Tamar McIntyre?
No, sir.
Did you ever have the opportunity to interview Jalen Bell?
No.
Now, this blue cell phone that we discussed earlier, it's entered into evidence, and you had a search warrant made for that phone, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you hand that over, I guess, what department would you hand that over to get that processed?
So at that point, it was a crime scene unit. They had the capability to do Cellbrite extractions for that period.
And so is that who you would have
There's the Cellbrite again.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, speaking of search warrants, you mentioned earlier testimony that you got a search warrant for Mark Salvador's phone number, and that you also got one from Joanne Reyes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you recall this? Well, not the search warrant number, but the phone numbers that are affiliated with Mark Salvador, and then also the one that is affiliated with Joanne Reyes?
For Joanna Reyes, it's 210-331-8356.
Thank you.
For Mark,
Maybe just to expedite it, if you could refer to your page 31 under the consent to service and search warrants.
thank you. For Mark Salvador, it was 210-382-3826.
Thank you. And I know that we have the markers, but the jury is seeing you flip through some pages up there. What are you looking at?
This is my prosecution guide. It's pretty much my report.
So that's your, in a sense, a police report of your investigation of this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you ever investigate anything about Tamar McIntyre's Twitter account?
Yes, sir.
And
do you recall what, I guess, the handle?
Guilty by association can be scary.
TAY 47 USA.
And how was that useful for your investigation?
In identifying and getting a date of birth for Mr. McIntyre.
And through this portion of information on Taylor McIntyre, was that the only information that you used to identify Taylor McIntyre?
Other than lineups from...
No, I'm just saying that the totality of your investigation.
Yeah, from the witness statements that were in the car. There was evidence found in the car, such as the cell phone, the letter in the trunk of the car, the other people in the car placing him in the vehicle, which was corroborated by the independent witnesses that did not know who was in the car, but were able to corroborate the statements and the video of the shooting and at the Chick-fil-A and then at El Potosino.
Thank you. Now, do you recall that CSI, in this case, obtained what they call swabs?
Yes, sir.
And those swabs, what are swabs? What do you define them as?
They look like, they're just Q-tips. They're like wooden, one sticks with a Q-tip on. Now?
And from your knowledge and training experience, is that used to collect possible DNA or biological evidence?
They swab items to see if there's any DNA left on there, which is different. Because sometimes they do it if like there's blood or saliva or something visible. This is more where it's the surface of things, or vehicles or doors, things of that nature.
Are you aware, or if you are?
I think he's about to pass the witness here shortly.
Is that also a possible reason why they would do swabs?
Yes, sir.
Because now we just
talking. In this case, there have been many swabs that were testified to that were done. Were those ever tested in the lab?
No, sir.
And is there a particular reason why these weren't tested?
So, I made the decision not to submit them. I felt that with the evidence that I had with Mr. McIntyre being placed in the front seat of the car and other evidence, it would have helped, but I don't think it would have hurt the case because they don't. So it's such DNA, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come back to anybody at all.
It's not answering the question.
And I felt with the other evidence I had, it wouldn't change anything.
So are you saying that, let's just say, hypothetically, one of these swabs would have came back to a different individual, that if it was swabbed inside the car in the front passenger seat, if it would have came back to a different individual, not Taylor McIntyre, would that have changed your conclusions on this case?
No, sir.
Would it still be that your conclusions are that Taylor McIntyre shot and killed Mark Salvador with a deadly weapon?
Yes, there was more.
2017.
Yes, there was more evidence to support that conclusion.
Now, Ms. Snell had been in here earlier to testify about latent prints, and she identified Jalen Bell's fingerprints or latent prints on the cell phone of Mark Salvador, which I believe you testified to earlier, and also that Jeremiah Rodriguez latent prints were found on the exterior of the vehicle. And she also testified that she tested them against Mark Salvador, Joanna Reyes, and Tamor McIntyre. In this situation, I guess my question is that Joanna Reyes admitted to being in this vehicle, but yet none of her fingerprints were found. Is that common in cases through your experiences?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Did she wipe her fingerprints off?
The phone is another good example. It was the victim's phone. He used it. It's his phone, and even his fingerprints weren't found on there, which is kind of like the swabs and like my decision not to submit because it's not always a guarantee that anything's going to come back to it. But the fingerprints did come back to Mr. Bell.
And again, Mark Salvador, like you said, it's his phone, but from all intents and purposes, from your investigation, Mark Salvador was on that hood of that vehicle, and many people testified that he was grabbing onto that vehicle. but yet none of his fingerprints are found.
Correct.
And also, there's testimony that Tamar McIntyre was in that vehicle. However, his fingerprints were not found anywhere in that vehicle also. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And through your investigation, you had determined that the death of Mark Anthony Salvador was caused by Tamar McIntyre while he was trying to commit robbery of Mark Salvador.
Objection leading calls for the issue. Expect the jury to disregard the question.
Ladies and gentlemen, you disregard.
Motion for mistrial.
Motion for mistrial.
Denied.
What are your conclusions after the totality of your investigation on your belief of Tamar McIntyre's actions?
Objection calls for opinion on the ultimate question.
Sustained.
Motion for mistrial.
Objection.
Can't answer.
Pass the
Were there
witness,
also
man.
clothing items contained within that car that were related to Tamar McIntyre?
Yes, sir.
And so, including evidence of the letter and the phone obtained from that vehicle, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll pass the witness.
There you go.
Thanks.
All right, shout out. I got to shout out Rhonda, though. Let me know what y'all think about this. Shout out to Rhonda over on the Cash App. She dropped the 10 bomb. And she said, good work. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate you. We were going to go into some more of this testimony. I think we'll get into the defense's take on this tomorrow, because we still got a good bit of this testimony to get to. And then day 8 is moving a little bit slow too, so we'll get into that later. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give y'all an early day today, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Again, thank you so much to everyone that liked the video. Thank you to everybody that sent in support over on the super chats and the Cash App as well. We'll be back here tomorrow. Probably start early. I'm thinking 9:30 tomorrow morning. So make sure y'all are ready. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. We've got a couple clips coming up for y'all this afternoon, so you don't want to miss out on that. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. And as always, you guys know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. Be gone. Peace.